Hey guys, Accountability Angel here, and it has come to my attention that members of our local news media, including the News Trib, WLPO, and the Ottawa Times, and a few other ones we have around here, don't seem to want to report the truth. Even though they've had the truth sent to them, it's been around for weeks, they just want to pretty much base what they have to say off of what the Sheriff's Department originally stated, which is crazy because they've been notified that there's definite big discrepancies, and I think a few of them did try to put the truth in there a little bit, but I definitely read Thorson from WLPO questioning somebody's PTSD aggressively in the way you did. I think that's messed up personally. Ignore my nails, I ripped them off so I can get them done tomorrow, but anyway, and what was his name? I don't even know because I don't watch that show, but he can't seem to get his name out of my mouth. What's his name? Tom Hensen, whatever his name is from WLPO. He decided to make like a really big little jibber-jabber thing, pretty much knocking me as a journalist and stating that you have to be ethical and fair and anybody can't just pick up a camera and be a journalist, and that I caused a scene at the LaSalle County Sheriff's Office, me and my brother. And also accusing me of intentionally provoking people. Tom, if you didn't know, about 30 of my 60 or so videos that I have posted are positive and have ended positively. There's even been instances where the police show up and they educate employees of certain, buildings that are paid for by the tax dollars and the public. Not to mention the many, many privacy changes that Accountability Angel has helped happen, including at the LaSalle County Jail and the Sheriff's Department, including ISP and at Prue PD. You know what Prue PD did? They didn't say one negative word to me the night I came there. Well, wee hours of the morning, and I was creeping up behind their officer. You know what they did? They went and changed it anyway. And their officer treated me with respect because, you know what, that's their own privacy thing. And thank God it was me just being a weirdo with a camera as opposed to somebody meaning harm to him or to anybody else. Same with people are trying to, in a video from the night after we got kidnapped. Some guy named John White that's what I was referring to, Rod. Somebody keeps changing my videos up and cutting everything out and leaving like a 10-second clip, trying to make it sound like I'm threatening the police, which is untrue. Same with when I was on the radio. I certainly, just because I don't want to exactly tell you what I have going on my legal side, now I'm threatening the police or whoever. Makes no sense. All that is trying to antagonize me. So it's kind of weird how you guys accuse me of doing that. Because like I said, nearly half of my videos, including the very last one posted before I went live, the day I was kidnapped, was a positive one. The Sangamon County Courthouse. And guess what? They let me right in. You want to know why? Because they're supposed to. All right, that's the law. And also, according to Tom Hensen, he claimed that I misquoted the 42 USC 14141, and I didn't. You might want to read into that a little more because you almost had it, but you kind of screwed up there. So I definitely recommend you looking into that, and also looking more into the fact that when he does put his body in front of me to stop my movement into the government funded building or taxpayer funded building, that is a Fourth Amendment violation because I was doing nothing supposedly wrong except for filming, which they cannot use as suspicious behavior. It's already been ruled on. They can't turn that into a crime. That violates the 14th, among other things. So yeah, they've made a lot of big mistakes. What else do I want to talk on? I don't want to talk too much about it because really Tom Hensen isn't worth it to me. Oh, and why I wear a body cam. Tom, you want to know why I wear a body cam? I was battered on 2 separate occasions by 2 separate sheriff's officers, one of which, Louis Bonds, they ended up, Sheriff Templeton and whoever else, ended up making him let me in the building after he berated me for being at the child support office to begin with. Well, at the clerk's office to get those papers to begin with, put his hands on me. and then eventually had to let me in. So that's the thing. The sheriff's office also, the next time, instead of accepting my complaints, the very man that claimed that I put hands on him decides to blast music. Blast music instead of accepting my complaints. That's all he did for minutes and minutes until I finally freaked out. And oddly enough, the deputy prosecutor, Joe Navarro, was actually in on it and did that same exact thing minutes later. After the state police master sergeant Skinner told me to go over there and try to turn the complaints in, but he was involved in it too and complete. I mean, this is all on video. You know, anybody that watches my channel, they know. But the problem is, you goobers that don't watch, and then you just assume that I'm just some piece of shit that hates all cops. Like, bro, I got a blue light on my porch right this very moment and have for months and months, because I don't not support the police, but I definitely do not support people breaking their oaths and, you know, just throwing themselves all over our rights. Not going to happen. Because also, they have now tried to charge me with battery when I never made physical contact with that said officer from March 2nd. He actually, it's all on film, made contact with me when I was doing nothing wrong, when they had just told me that it wasn't illegal to go through there. It was just their policy. So would that be entrapment, or are you violating my rights? That's another thing. Tom Hensen said, whatever the hell his name is, who cares? WLPO, the guy that just can't quit talking about me. Like, come on, man. If you're telling me I'm begging for attention, then why do you keep talking about me? Huh? All right. It's not about attention, and it's not about... The thing is, what you're doing right now, Tom, is called victim blaming, and it's a very, very terrible thing to do to people. Because the government does not have the right to kidnap us and do things and arrest us if we have done nothing that is a crime. All right? I was there on March 8th for 9 minutes and some odd seconds trying to get somebody to answer the door to acknowledge my existence while I turned in a complaint. And just like the time before, they played games, and Jim was the one playing the games. You know, this isn't the first time they've done that. And that is why the 14141, like I had quoted to you, or to Rod, that is where that comes in. Because it is a pattern practice for them to repeatedly do this shit over and over again. It's not okay. All right, and a camera, Tom Hensen. How was a camera provocative? Please tell me. I would love to freaking know. Because, you know, for the first time in my life, I actually took the time to listen to your show. And you're trying to compare me as a journalist to you. And act like I give you a bad name and your reputation of journalist, blah, blah, blah. Now, my name has been smeared everywhere. If you looked, I don't get in trouble. I don't beat up cops or whatever. So, no, my camera's not provocative. And I do not ruin the reputation of journalists just because I do things differently than you, and I'm not some little wine bag on the radio. I actually get out there and fucking go do my business. That's why I do FOIAs, because you know what? If you watch the videos, they tell me to do it. They tell me to. And that's how you find out the proper information. That's how I also found out, and also via the court admin, that there is no standing policy where the judge ordered that you cannot film inside. And also, I was never inside to begin with. All right, so I would love to know that when I went up there, nice, quietly, everything, both times, and it took several minutes before me to start losing my shit, while they're actively violating my rights, I would love to know how I'm provocative. Because it did. Honestly, months ago, it turned into a personal thing with them. And most of my negative videos are with this terrible sheriff's office. So, Tom, I would like to know that. And I also... I was curious as to what makes you more of a journalist than me when I report the truth and I show video evidence of the truth. But you know that they were interfering with the complaint process. That's exactly what they were doing, and more than once. But somehow I'm doing all this wrong stuff, but you're reporting lies. All right, there was never a COVID screen. There was never whatever else. I'm definitely not a part of QAnon. I don't know which one of you people even said that. But it's kind of obnoxious because you know what? You guys didn't try to reach out to me, especially WLPO. At least Tom Collins, I'll give him that. He when he couldn't get a hold of me because my phone was stolen. he at least came to my door. And I didn't like that anyway, but at least he tried. So I'm curious, and I challenge you guys. I would love to see you actually report the full story and to question the sheriff's department as to why they lied and tried to claim that it was about COVID stuff at the door. They have not once offered me a COVID screen at the door, period. All right, or anything else. You know, I've always been willing to do whatever they want, you know, that wise. And I also, if you see the video, I had my mask on because that lie also went around. But yeah, they straight up just came out of the back and yanked my arm. That's why I was screaming in the video, was because I had my notebook in one hand and I had my tripod and phone in the other hand, you know, with my pen and stuff. And he just yanks my arm up from behind me while I'm holding stuff, not giving me the chance to do anything. Ended up cracking my phone screen, broke my property. So now they have felony criminal damage to property, among other things. And it's disgusting the way they cover for each other. And it's disgusting the way that that Sergeant Margis was able just to yank me around like a big piece of shit. He was also the one that did just come up and abruptly start handcuffing me before even telling me I was under arrest. Not one of them, not one identified as a police officer or as anything. So I find that mighty odd, especially the one that is yanking me from behind. That's really messed up. But yeah, Sheriff Templeton was sent emails months ago, and he didn't care. He didn't want to stop. His ego is just through the freaking roof. But yeah, I would like to see you guys actually report the truth and actually question why we were arrested. What lawful order did we defy, and how did Jim Knoblauch was the officer, and Lou Riva, I think is how you say it. How did they have any authority to tell us to do anything, to not come into that taxpayer-funded building, to turn in the complaints, and to go and get FOIAs? Well, my brother was getting FOIAs. But how? Because I have not been able to find one thing. You guys keep changing your weird charges around. You know why? Because you know they're not going to stick. That also brings me to my next point. I have no intentions of getting any defense attorney whatsoever at this point. We're going to see what the judge says at the first hearing. Who knows? I don't know. I don't go to jail. But all I know is it's up to them to prove something beyond a reasonable doubt, and they can't. Because they weren't lawfully acting. Therefore, he had no right to try to impede my movement, to stop me from turning in the complaints, to interfere with the complaint process, all because of a camera. You know, we weren't there carrying on. If you guys saw the video before the live was kicked on because that guy had already went hands-on with me. It's disgusting that they go hands-on with you. I never touched him, you know, intentionally. I mean, he brought himself up to me, and then our bodies touched, of course. But same with the guy from 3-2, where they're trying to charge me with battery. You can very clearly see him coming up, and after I go through the detector, after they refused to let me in, and they told me it wasn't against the law, I just walked on through with the phones, both phones, mine and my brother's. And that guy tried to bear hug me after I was already through. I didn't fucking touch him, and I screamed to him. I said, I'm not resisting. Don't fucking touch me if you're not going to arrest me. So, yeah, I'm curious about the whole news media thing and how you guys just talk for days and days about me, but you guys don't want to hear the real story. And then you claim that I'm fake news or whatever you say. You know what, Tom Hensen? You are the freaking scum of all journalists, in my opinion. From the things you said, you have balls enough to hop on there when I was talking to Rod and say it? No, I can handle my little channel the way I want to, and you handle your WLPO the way you always have, where you're spouting out lies. I don't know, I don't listen to you. But, and also, when my friend was texting you regarding the fact that she was upset that you were mocking PTSD, and that, you know, I went through something very significant that caused that, all right? And for somebody to basically say, oh, where'd you get that? Oh, did you want me to go into my whole fucking story about it? Did you want people just to relive that or what? I don't understand the anything. And I also don't understand what part of my statement on the radio was a threat. I would love to hear it, because I tell officers all the freaking time, well, mainly officers, but other people too, that people like you and you, the ones that are actively violating people's rights, are the reason that other law enforcement officers, dispatchers, secretaries, who the fuck ever, get ambushed, get hurt, get beat up, You know, they're a big, big part of the reason. I mean, sometimes no, but so yeah, same with Donna. The problem is these people are so worried about a freaking camera, about a freaking cell phone coming in those buildings, even though there's no law, no policy to stop that. Only a sheriff's memo, which does not count for us. And the sheriff's memo says if you have official business, you can come in, period. So, despite COVID, that was, you know, that was another thing I FOIA. That's not why you FOIA. You find the fucking information out, Tom. You know, if they didn't want us to do it, then they shouldn't have us doing it. But you know what? I'm doing things lawfully. That's why I'm not wasting my time getting an attorney yet. Because my big thing is that they're going down for everything they've done. And I'd love to see them try to prove this. I would love to see them try to. Truly, because they can't. They can't. What were we obstructing? Because he had no lawful authority to try to tell us in that moment not to come in that building simply because a camera was rolling. You cannot do that. That violates the constitutional rights we have. All right. This isn't, I mean, we have every right to be in there to do it. Now, to be in a courtroom, that's a little bit different, but we weren't trying to do that. I was simply trying to file a complaint, and they wouldn't even bring somebody outside for me, let alone inside. But, you know, it kind of makes sense as to why they lied on the search warrant about me being inside the vestibule with the officers. I mean, it's I can't lie about that. You know, it's on film. It's on more than my film. And, you know, also about whatever incident supposedly happened on the 8th inside by the metal detectors when I was never in there. So, yeah, I don't know. But, yeah, pretty much all Tom Hensen's doing. WLPO, News Trib isn't so bad, but WLPO has been very bad for basically encouraging the bullying. Literally, most of these people, they don't have the time to look into these exact fucking statutes, the exact statutes I'm giving them, and the exact amendments and stuff. They won't look into that properly, but they will just belittle me for my teeth, my face, myself, the way I talk, everything. Like, are you serious? They bring my kids into it. Oh, you should have your kids taken away. Why? Because I was filming as I turn in a complaint at a freaking sheriff's office? Really? Really? Well, as somebody that was in foster care, that's a pretty fucked up thing to hear. Because you know what? Some messed up things go on in foster care. So you really shouldn't wish that on parents. Okay? Because I was exercising my First Amendment right. Along with other ones. But, yeah, again, I would love for WLPO to let me know how I intentionally provoke anybody. And why I have so many great videos if I intentionally provoke people. You know? I'd love to know, because there has been a lot of changes. And I've been able to go pick up complaint forms for people, which I do film those things. But I only post them if somebody wants me to. I don't do that. But I will film it just to be safe. And, you know, I would have never worn the damn body cam. I wouldn't have paid all that money to have one if I didn't have to. If they hadn't gone hands-on with me a couple times, easily. You know, when they had no right to do so. And even the sheriff showed that they had no right to do so because he made them let me in. You know, into that room that I was trying to be in for over an hour, around an hour. You know, and, you know, Jim wouldn't let me turn in complaint forms last time. He wouldn't let me. He literally, Lieutenant Wolford had to come way over on the other side of the complex and try to hunt me down after Jim was playing those games for like 10 minutes. You know, so I'd love to know how I'm provoking anybody. And I'd love to know if Tom, Rod, what's that other dude's name? Tom, Rod, and Tom Collins, if you guys took the time to actually watch the videos, because I think I sent it to all of you. And if not, I will. But, yeah, we were there for quite some time before any of that happened. And Jim decided to go hands-on with me, shoving me when my brother wasn't even around. So, that just shows. And they always like to kind of strong-arm me when I'm alone. But, yeah, it's definitely been a messed up week. And I'd love to know what I did wrong. And, yeah, maybe I freak out. My reactions aren't the best. But at the end of the day, my rights were being violated. I was being battered. We ended up kidnapped and held against our will. We had our property taken and damaged. They ruined my pen and claimed they gave it to my brother, although you can hear me yelling about them breaking it in the video. I said, why would you give that to him? He lives way far away from me, lives nowhere near me. And then he let me know that they never gave him anything. They're just liars. It's all they do, right, is lie. Sheriff Templeton is the king of the fucking liars. And, but yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of curious if the sheriff's office pays off Tom Hensen or what, because he's not a very good reporter. He's not looking at this objectively, or whatever the fuck he calls himself. Little news guy on the radio, or whatever. All right, so don't try to tell me how to run my stuff when you can't even run your own, okay? All right, you do a terrible job at it because you're reporting a bunch of half-truths. And why are you guys asking about my personal information? That's a little weird. And why are you encouraging the, just the nasty, nasty things being said? I don't understand. I do not understand. But, okay, it's all right. You can continue to blame the people that are doing nothing. Because at the end of the day, you just keep talking about my wonderful little channel. Because you got nothing better to talk about, I guess. I don't know. But, that's all right. And when this all gets thrown out, when this all ends well, especially if I do it all without a lawyer, I can't guarantee you that yet. But at this point, I know I did nothing wrong. I mean, I was going to right away, and I filtered through a bunch trying to figure out exactly who fit me right, you know. So I do have that, but it's not worth it. What am I going to pay all that money for to defend something I never did? They got to prove I did it. Hello, this isn't a DUI where I was sitting in the car. This is them actively violating multiple federal laws and multiple of my rights and then trying to turn it on me and my brother. So, complete retaliatory arrest. Tom Hensen, I want you to look back into that 14141 that we talked about. Well, I didn't even talk about it with you. You actually had the information and then had the time to Google it and then still got it wrong. So, yeah, you're an excellent reporter, bro. Instead of worrying about what I'm doing and talking all nasty about me, maybe you should look a little deeper into the stories that you're reporting yourself. Right? All right. But all of you guys that I named and any other local reporters that want to keep running their mouth are more than welcome to contact me at accountabilityangel@yahoo.com. A couple of you have my phone number already. But yeah, if you want to report the truth, that's great. If you want to keep being on Templeton's back, then go for it. Seems like you're pretty good at that, Tom, huh? You are a shame to journalists everywhere, to any activists at all, to pretty much the whole community, because you're reporting half-truths and you're just running people into the ground, trying to ruin their reputation. Like, I don't get in trouble. I don't beat up the police. I generally like the police, actually. So, yeah, so we'll see. I mean, if you want to claim a camera's provoking, then I'd love to hear it. And Rod, I asked you how for a couple different statements you made. And Rod, you just changed the subject. Why? Why didn't you change the subject? Why didn't you reply as to how that was a threat? Or how I provoke people? I'd love to know. You guys can answer it. If you don't, and you continue to keep talking about me all week long, that just shows that you're a coward. And I hope none of you are cowards. Tom Hensen, though, I think you are. I definitely think you are. Okay? All right. And again, mental health illnesses and PTSD are not a joke. And bullying is not cool. Bye.